The NHL has revealed their reverse retro jerseys for this season and everyone is talking about them, so I'll throw in my 2 cents. These feel like a quick cash grab to make up for the loss of revenue from not finishing the regular season and having no fans in the stands for the playoffs. Even though some of these jerseys have apparently been in the works for over 2 years. Surprising given some of the results. I want to shift gears for a second to talk about the Toronto Raptors and their new uniforms. They actually had the players on the team involved in designing the new uniforms, since they would be the ones wearing them for the season and seasons to come. Why am I bringing this up? It's clear that a lot of these jerseys were made for the fans only, and I doubt the players had any influence on the design. It's going to be a trend that a lot of these players are going to be embarrassed to wear some of these. Also, a big shout out to sportslogos.net where I found a lot of these jerseys I show here. I'm not being sponsored in any way, I'm just a fan. I've been using this site for a long time and it's the most comprehensive collection of sports logos and uniforms online. Starting alphabetically with the Anaheim Ducks. Their reverse retros are based on their alternate jerseys from the 95-96 season, and I can see why they only wore them for 1 season. Players were embarrassed to wear them back then, and they'll sure as hell be embarrassed to wear them now. Yeah, the Mighty Ducks cartoon was cool, but this is for grown adults to wear. The design looks like something I would have on my pajamas as a kid. I'm actually kind of amused at the idea of the Ducks wearing these again, just for the laughs. Ever since Anaheim just became the Ducks, they've really missed the marks on all their uniforms. They should have gone back to these beauties, if anything. The Arizona Coyotes. Their reverse retros are based on their alternate jerseys from 99 to 03. Those original jerseys are horrendous, but replacing the green with purple really brings the jersey together. I wasn't big on these at first, but they've really grown on me. It's cool, it's bold, I approve. The Boston Bruins. Theirs are based on their road jerseys from 1976 to 1995. Not a big fan of the Bruins using yellow as their primary color. Why mess with a concept that works? This shoulder patch also used to scare the you-know-what out of me as a kid, and a whole new generation of kids are going to be exposed to this monstrosity. There would have been some better options, including the late 60s, early 70s unis, the early 60s alternates, and these ones that they brought back as their throwbacks for the league's 75th anniversary in 91-92. Overall, not horrible, but not great either. The Buffalo Sabres. Based on their alternates from 2000 to 06, but with the classic blue and gold. No one's favorite Sabres jerseys, but it could have been a lot worse. They could have gone with the Buffalo Slug. I don't understand why they didn't just go with their primary jerseys from that era, but with the modern colors. It's just okay, and I can't picture this one being a big seller in Buffalo. The Calgary Flames. Based on their jerseys that bounced back and forth from being their alternates to road uniforms from 98 to 06. Good old Blasty is making a return, and yes, that's the horse's nickname. This logo is absolutely horrible, and even though they cleaned up the jersey a bit, it's still a disaster. I know they're making the old school jerseys the main uniforms now, but couldn't they just take that design and make it predominantly black? I can't imagine the players loving wearing these on a regular basis. Gets a big ol' no from me. The Carolina Hurricanes, or should I say the Carolina Whalers, based on the Whalers home jerseys from 79 to 85. Not a big fan of teams wearing uniforms from cities that they don't play in anymore, but the Hurricanes didn't really have much to choose from unless they want to go with the dull Hurricane flag design. I love the Whalers jersey, but I have a few bones to pick with this one. First, making the logo that big really makes it look like something you'd find at a flea market. Second, why is gray the primary color? I've read that it's because it's the only color that the Whalers and Hurricanes shared, and if that's true, it sounds like a bit of a stretch, as gray wasn't even the Whalers' color with this uniform. I would have rather seen them wear the jersey that they wore their last 5 seasons in Hartford. I say meh to these ones. The Chicago Blackhawks. Based on their dark jerseys from 37 to 55. The Blackhawks possibly have the nicest uniforms already, and I'd even say they've never had a bad looking jersey. They took out the hokey stripes from the old jerseys, cleaned it up a bit, and would you look at that. These just might be the best reverse retro jerseys, and I can see these being a big seller for Christmas. I'm putting these in S tier. The Colorado Avalanche, or the Colorado Nordiques? Yes, we're doing this again. Based on the Quebec Nordiques home jerseys from 91 to 95. I basically just mentioned my feelings on borrowing the logo and uniform from the city that the team was in previously. but the Avs really didn't have much of a choice here though. They maybe could have done something to bring back the Bigfoot shoulder patch somehow, but they go for the easy money here. The Avalanche colors look sharp on the Nordiques jerseys, and I like these a lot more than I thought I would. These are another one that I think are going to sell really well for the holidays. Overall, very pleasant. Columbus Blue Jackets, based on their dark jerseys from 2000 to 07. Does anybody actually like this logo? I'll admit, making red the primary color is a sharp look. Maybe they could have used Stinger as the shoulder logo, but they went a different route. They didn't really have much of a choice here, but it's just another jersey that doesn't look great. Dallas Stars, based on their white jerseys worn from 99 to 07. I'll admit, I'm more partial to these uniforms worn from 94 to 99, but they did a great job with these ones. Making the bottom portion of the jersey white really makes this jersey look nice and clean, and they changed the color scheme to reflect their current colors. I've seen some complain that there isn't enough contrast between the silver and white, but I don't think it's a huge issue. There were rumors that they were going back to those atrocious Bull Constellation uniforms, but thank God they didn't come to fruition. These are another one of my favorites unveiled. Detroit Red Wings, based on the Centennial Classic jersey from 2017. Red Wings taking a bit of a different approach and using an outdoor game jersey instead of going old school. On paper, adding silver to the Wings jersey sounds silly, but in practice, it actually looks nice. These are a bit too minimalist for me, as I would have liked to see them do something either with the shoulders or with the collar. I won't complain too much about these, as I think they look pretty good. Edmonton Oilers, based on their home uniforms from 79 to 96. Edmonton took the if it ain't broke, don't mess with it too much approach, by just swapping the blue and orange on the shoulders, sleeves, numbers, captain's letter, and the hem. Nice little change of pace without going too far. Looking forward to seeing Edmonton wear these. I like them. Florida Panthers, based on the Panthers' dark jerseys from 93 to 07. The Panthers have worn a few permutations of this uniform, primarily red, primarily blue, and ones with the Panther breaking a hockey stick. Thankfully, no hockey stick broken this time. They're kind of borrowing elements from both the blue and red jerseys, swapping out the yellow for the gold. These jerseys are actually really nice. Not exactly one of my favorites here, but in the upper echelon for sure. Los Angeles Kings, based on their jerseys from 88 to 98. Taking the silver and black Kings unis and giving them the original purple and gold colors is surprisingly a great look. Really sharp and hands down one of the best here for sure. Minnesota Wild, based on the North Stars jerseys worn from 78 to 81. I like the idea here, but the execution just looks a little off and doesn't feel right. I'm also not a fan of green and gold color scheme to begin with. They probably would have been better off going with North Star uniforms with the Wild colors. These ones are just an eyesore, not a fan. Montreal Canadiens, based off, well, the dark jerseys they've always worn. There was plenty of opportunity to go wrong with this one because the Habs have worn some stinkers, like those Where's Waldo's jerseys from a few years ago, or could you imagine if they went with the Globe? No one thinks of blue as the primary color for the Habs, but these jerseys are just delicious. I can see a lot of Canadiens fans trying to snatch these ones up fast. Definitely a contender for the best reverse retro jersey. The Nashville Predators, based on their dark jerseys from 05 to 07. Flipping the blue and gold while taking out the red from the logo is a real sharp look. Definitely one of the best of the bunch. New Jersey Devils, based on their road uniforms from 82 to 92. Christmas came early for New Jersey, and going with green as the main color here makes it look even more like a Christmas tree. I think these are just really fugly uniforms, and they should have just gone with their jerseys now, except with black as the primary color. I don't like these at all, but Devils fans apparently love the Christmas style throwback, so what do I know? New York Islanders, based off their road uniforms from 78 to 95. Much like the Oilers, they really didn't change much because they didn't need to. In fact, they changed even less than Edmonton. Not much different than their current uniform, except they went back to white over orange for the hem, and a color that's orange in the front and white in the back. There was a lot of potential for this one to get real ugly with the Highliner jerseys, but thankfully, cooler heads prevailed. I'd rather them switch up the colors a little more like what Edmonton did, but it looks nice and does the job. New York Rangers, based on their alternates from 96 to 07. I've never been the biggest fan of their Statue of Liberty jerseys, but they did a nice job cleaning it up for the modern day. I would have rather seen them go with something like they had for their alternates from 2010 to 17. Not bad overall. Ottawa Senators, based on their road uniforms from 92 to 95. The smartest thing the Sens did in a long time was revert back to the original style profile view Senator logo. Those jerseys were always some of my favorites as a kid, and switching up the black and red is just beautiful. Not much else to say except this is another one of the best unveiled. Philadelphia Flyers, based on their road uniforms from 82 to 01. I'm a bit surprised they didn't go back to the black jerseys that they wore throughout the 2000s, but I really can't complain about this one. Swapping the black and white on the shoulders and sleeves is a really good look, and I think this will take off in Philly. Not exactly one of my favorites, but still very nice nonetheless, and Gritty's gonna look pretty good in this one. Pittsburgh Penguins, based off their road jerseys from 92 to 97. Another one that kinda drops the ball, and they didn't even bring back the Robo Penguin on the shoulder patch. Instead, we got the modern Pens logo without the triangle. They had two great jerseys with the Robo Penguin they could have gone with, or even these beauties from the 2011 Winter Classic. I know these were cursed and everyone was getting injured in these ones, but come on. These ones just kind of make me shake my head. San Jose Sharks, based off the uniforms that started as their alternates but became their primary dark jerseys, worn from 97 to 07. I like these ones a lot, and the gray actually works as the primary color here. They went with a full swap of colors here, moving teal, black, and gray all around, and it becomes a nice little mashup. Also, don't ask me why when Florida breaks a hockey stick it looks hokey, but when the Sharks do it, it looks rad. Just another really cool jersey, and another one of the best here. St. Louis Blues, based on their road jerseys from 95 to 98. Possibly one of the worst primary jerseys in NHL history just made a comeback, and somehow looks even worse than ever. I never got how red became a St. Louis Blues color, and mixing all three primary colors together is not a good look. The one thing that they did do right was bring back the trumpet shoulder patch. There were rumors that they were going to rework the infamous scrap trumpet jerseys that were shut down back in the day by Mike Keenan. The concept is actually really nice and would have been a lot better than the garbage we got. Hands down the worst one here. Tampa Bay Lightning, based on their dark jerseys from 92 to 07. All Tampa did was swap the black and blue from their original uniforms, and the result is fantastic. Another one of my favorites here. Toronto Maple Leafs, based on their road uniforms from 70 to 92. Oh boy, I'm a Leafs fan and I just hate this one. First of all, the 70s and 80s jersey here used as the basis is no one's favorite, and just harkens back to the dark days of Harold Ballard. Second, using the logo from the 67 jerseys just looks wrong. Making it big and a blue logo on a blue jersey gives it that flea market look. Third, changing the shoulders, sleeves, and collars to gray is also a bad look. I've heard it's actually silver, but looks gray in all the photos and videos I've seen. There were some much better options, including the white version of the 67 jersey and the 14 Winter Classic jersey. I don't get it. Burn it with fire. Vancouver Canucks, based on their alternates from 01 to 06. The Canucks are going back to their second worst jersey design in their history, though I'll admit, it's a big improvement with the blue, green, and white. I really thought they'd go back to the skate uniforms they had from the 90s, which could have been really nice, but there was also the possibility they went back to the big V, which could have been disastrous. I kind of go back and forth from thinking it's just okay to being really cool, and right now, I'm at really cool with it. Though, come back to me in a few months when we see how these look on the ice. Vegas Golden Knights. How ironic, a team in their 4th season already getting throwbacks. The jersey design is actually based on the Las Vegas Thunder uniforms, an IHL team from 93 to 98, and here's Manon Riom posing with one. The Golden Knights opt to switch their shoulder patch and chest logo, which I think just looks weird. I also think going with red as the main color with a lot of gold acts as an eyesore, and I can't really get behind this one. Next! Washington Capitals, based on their road uniforms from 95 to 2000. Wasn't a big fan of these jerseys back in the day, but going with the modern color scheme with these uniforms gives it that classic and clean look. Was worried that we'd see those ugly Capitol building jerseys here, but thank God they're just going with those on the shoulders. Ever since Washington went back to their original colors in 07, their jersey game has been top notch, and the pattern really continues here. Winnipeg Jets, based on the original Jets jerseys from 79 to 90. Wow, Jets, you were so close to getting it right. Those original Jets uniforms were just about perfect and needed very little change, but you had to go out and make gray the primary color? Are you kidding me? I get it, it's the modern colors with the retro jerseys, but this is just plain boring and ugly. Unfortunate that we had to end on a low note, but that's the way it goes. Thanks for watching, I appreciate you for clicking on this video. Let me know if I was right on or way off about these in the comments. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at AndrewMilani6. I'm working on a pretty big project where I'm going to be previewing the season for all 7 Canadian teams. That should be up in a few weeks' time. Thanks again, and I'll talk to you soon.